Hello and welcome to this quick Q&A. I am so loving the questions you're sending, and they're showing me that you are really diving deep into the topic of intuition, and that makes me really happy. So let's get started with the questions that you have sent me so far, and let's get them answered. So the first question is from Emma. Emma says, I often have intuitions which I remove immediately and which later turn out to be well-founded. How can I have more faith in such insights? Well, the word you use, dear Emma, remove immediately, is exactly what you want to stop doing. So I think it's beautiful that you are already receiving these insights, and you're also receiving them at the perfect time. But the problem is, like most of us who are not yet trained to listen to their intuition, we will ignore those messages. We will put them aside, we'll disregard them, and then later find out, wow, if only I had listened. So here's a great tip of how to break that pattern. Start creating your intuition journal, which means it's your little logbook, a little notebook that you put aside to write down those insights, those intuitive messages that you get, so that you can start tracking them. You can start seeing, oh, interesting, I got this then, and then this happened, and oh, wow, if only I'd listened. And with time, you will see that you will start listening more because you are taking the time to become aware, to notice these moments of insight. And that noticing, that awareness is the first step to strengthening your intuition. You need to become aware of it. You need to make time and space for that. So start your logbook and start tracking the messages that you're getting. The faith piece is a piece, it's like a muscle that you need to start training. Just like a muscle in your body, you have this faith muscle in you that wants to be trained. So the more often you listen to your intuition, become aware of the messages, take the time to write them down and actually listen, the more you will receive those messages, and the easier it will be to hold that faith even in times when everybody's saying the opposite of what you're getting as a message, because these are the times when intuition is a lifesaver. And you'll see in my book that there are quite a few moments where intuition really saved my life and that of others because I took the time to listen. Okay, so I hope that helps you, Emma. The next question is by Alessandra. Alessandra is saying, hi, Joy. When I have an intuition, how can I really know that it's the right one? Maybe I could find the answer in your book. I'm sure you will find an answer in the book, but let's go into that intuition. That intuition that you're receiving, you will receive in your preferred channel of information. That's why in the training, I give you the test where you can actually elicit your preferred channel of information. What is this? Well, you see, information can come to us in many, many different ways. We have an auditory digital channel, which is the conversation in our head. Then we have the auditory channel, which is the things we hear. Then we have a visual channel, the things we see. But we also have a kinesthetic channel, the things we feel. We also have olfactory, so smell, and gustatory channels. But those first ones I mentioned are the main ones that we use as humans to digest, process, receive, and pass on information. And when you know what your preferred channel of information is, you will have an easier time in finding that message amongst all those different messages. So what's important to be able to tune into intuition is to step out of the buzz. You've got to exclude all exterior distractions, all noises, to be able to tune into you, to calm the brain waves down, to step into a more neutral position rather than coming from a triggered ego. So once you have calmed down, you've stepped out of the buzz, that's step one, right? It's then about you noticing all the different information that you're getting. And this may come as a feeling in your body. It may come as a thought in your head. It may come as a word, a sound, something you suddenly are aware of, or it's something that you see. Here's an example from my own life. I thought always that I was a highly visual person because I've always worked in visual arts. I'm a great art fan. I can see if something needs fixing. I usually see what could be improved. And when I was receiving all these visions and dreams that I get, I thought, oh, my visual channel must be so strong. So this is intuition. I didn't believe something until I saw it. And I was missing all the steps before that, because when I took the test of NLP to elicit my preferred channel, I discovered that auditory digital is my first channel of information. Then I have auditory, which are pretty much the same on the same level of importance. And then I have kinesthetic channels. And only then the visual channels kick in. So that means that my intuition will start out as a thought in my head. Then I will hear something that will sound similar. And then I'll get a feeling in my body that tells me, oh, pay attention. And only then will I get the visions that go with this intuition. So by eliciting your preferred channel of information, it'll be easier for you to become aware of those messages that you're getting. So that's the first step that I would take. The next thing, this ties into another question that we have here, which is, how do I know the difference between all these thoughts and messages I'm getting that are maybe coming from fear or from my ego, and what are the ones from my heart, and what then is intuition? Well, let me explain it this way. Intuition is your highest form of intelligence. So the messages coming from intuition might be surprising to you. They will most likely be surprising because they will seem contradictory to what you normally do. That shows you that it's intuition. Intuition will always speak to you in a loving way. So that voice in your head that's judging you, that's bringing you down, all that negative self-talk, for sure is not intuition. That's just programming. That's just a habitual way of thinking laden with emotions. That is not intuition. Intuition usually comes pretty emotionless. It's just suddenly there. You just suddenly know, and you know. You don't know why you know, but you know. So pay attention to those messages that come in a rather surprising way, that make you think a little differently, that spark your creativity, and that create a pleasant feeling inside of you. That pleasant feeling can be anything from excitement to joy to gratitude to a sense of calm and peace, but it's always a good feeling, okay? When we have negative and fearful thoughts, our entire body goes into stress because all our cells are listening. So that is not intuition. Calm yourself down, tap your points, release those emotions, and then you're in a neutral state, and then you're actually only ready to listen to that subtle voice of your intuition. Next one, Anton. First of all, thank you. Well, thank you. Since I've been doing all these meditations, my question is, what could I do if I can't visualize what is proposed in the meditation? At least, how can I do that without losing my calm? Thank you, Anton, for this question. A lot of people have this idea that I can't visualize, I can't see anything. Well, here's the good news. We all have imagination. And that is the part of you that I am asking you to allow to step forward in the meditations. The good news is also that once your brain relaxes, your right brain and your left brain will get in balance with each other, which means that your left brain, the one that's always asking why and how, will relax, and your creative brain, the right brain, will take over, which means that imagining things, visualizing things will become much, much easier for you. Take the stress out and know that whatever you are doing is right. Whatever messages you are getting are right for you. There is no one way to visualize. There's no one way to imagine something. And every one of us has imagination. You were born with it. Remember when you were a child and you loved imagining all the things that you were looking forward to? You were imagining what your life would be like. That's the same power that we are reactivating. This will also reactivate your creative parts, your creative thinking. So it's a very valuable thing to invest into. Take the stress out by knowing you don't have to see anything. Just imagine. And that is more than good enough. Next one is by Nubia. I like to read cards, but it seems that God does not agree. In the Bible says that it is not possible. I have a contradiction within me. I do not know what to do. I'm in love in this life. And in a dream, I was told that the guy that I'm in love with, we were married in the past life and we were happy. But in this life, he's married and we cannot be together. My dream is to do a regression to understand if it is true. Can I learn to do this on my own? Yes, you can learn that. Absolutely. But let's backtrack to where you're saying that it seems God does not agree. Well, I think we all will have different images or different concepts of what God is. But if we take it down to the basic level of agreement, right, even between different faiths, is that we can say that we don't know who and what created us. What we can agree on that it is some power, some energy that is bigger than us little humans here. So this energy, this love, this light, this power that created you, you are part of that. So I would rethink that idea that God thinks this is not possible. God has no opinions, if you ask me. You are God and your beliefs are creating your reality. So if you believe that it is not possible, then you're right. If you believe it is possible, you're also right. So you choose what you would like to believe. I personally do not know that it says in the Bible that this is not possible. I would rethink that too. And I would also look at all the different translations of the Bible. So I'd let that go and check in with yourself. What helps you? If you like playing with cards, if you like asking cards and using cards as a form of divination, then go ahead, do it. I love playing with cards, and I think it's a wonderful way to tune into our intuition because it's a very playful way. Now let's go to this guy that you're in love with. If you got the message that you have shared past lives with each other, I would again assume that is true. And even if you don't believe in past lives, you can think that we have been around for eons of time as the energy that we are. And it is very likely that we've had many hundreds and hundreds of different lives in different timelines. And quantum science is actually confirming that. So if it is true that you guys were married in a past life or in a life and you were happy then that's beautiful. That maybe explains this intense connection that you're feeling right now. The idea to do a regression to find out more about it is a wonderful way to do that. There are many audios that you can do. For instance, in the trainings that my husband, Dr. Martina, and I have been teaching, you will find many different forms of regression where we're actually just stepping out of the timeline that we're in right now, and we're connecting to the quantum field of unlimited possibilities, unlimited timelines, to go to that time and space to understand something, to learn something, to heal something. And yes, you can definitely do this in guided meditations. And I would encourage you to do that because it's going to be something that will definitely help you understand better what is going on. Another point I would like to bring in here is the effect of karma. So we all have karmic connections, energetic connections to different timelines, different lifetimes, to different people, to different topics, and even places on this planet, because we've been around for eons of time. And in my belief, every time we didn't quite understand something, in any time we couldn't resolve something in the most loving way, we will still have a connection to that situation, to that past experience. And until that is healed, we will keep attracting people and situations to learn what we didn't learn then. So look into, many of our trainings teach us again, look into karma burning, look into cutting those connections, cutting those links. It's something that I teach in this Quantum Intuition Challenge too, when we talk about releasing and forgiving joyfully. When we release and forgive joyfully, that means we're learning our lesson and we're able to resolve it with love, and we're able to step back into our power of love. And this is a way of cutting those karmic cords. So look into that and pay great attention there, and do a lot of forgiveness work, especially on this topic, to make sure that you are really attracting that love in your life that you're worthy of, someone who's available to you, and someone who's on the same level as you, who wants the same things. It's out there for you. Know that. So keep going, and I hope this answer helped you. Now, how can I, this is a question by Damiana, how can I understand my deepest desires? If a person asks me, I don't know how to answer. I don't know what matters to me, and I don't know how to answer myself. I'm not a passive, apathetic, or monotonous person who loves a flat life. Quite the contrary. I sincerely thank you for helping us all to evolve. Well, thank you for asking this question. Okay, so how do we tune into our deepest desires? Well, the good thing about desires is that they're there. Often it's just a fact that we're not acknowledging it, right? It's just a matter of taking the time to honor those desires. So the first thing that I would do is I would get into a relaxed state of mind, take a few deep breaths, tap your points, get yourself into a balanced state. Put on some beautiful music, maybe light a candle, maybe say a little prayer, and set your intention to own your heart's desires. And once you're in that balanced state of mind, take a pen and paper, and then allow your hand to just write down all the desires that you are brainstorming, heartstorming. Anything that comes to mind, write it down. Even if it seems silly, especially if it seems silly, write down everything that you've ever desired in life, anything that makes you feel joyful. When you tune into that desire of whatever it is, and it helps you feel joyful and excited inside, then say yes to it. Write it down, own it, own it. So often we will have these wishes and thoughts and desires in our minds and even in our hearts, but we'll never talk about them. We'll never share them. We might feel that they're ridiculous. We might feel scared of sharing them with others because we feel we might be judged or other people won't agree. And you see, that has been training us to actually disconnect from our heart's desires and keep ourselves small. Even if we're actually a bubbly, a passionate person, which is what you sound like, Damiana, we could actually be dimming our light. And maybe we've been dimming our light for decades because we've always tried to please others, to fit in, to be accepted by others. And that often helps deaden our desires so that we can kind of become numb to them and not even know what they really are. So go on this pleasurable journey of writing down every single desire that comes to mind, and then ask yourself, which one of them gets me most excited? And if none of the desires get you really excited, they're just not big enough. You're not dreaming big enough. I actually created an audio for this called Attracting Your Heart's Desires, the secrets to how to do that. And in this audio, I explain that I myself once woke up in the morning and I thought, wow, I don't feel excited about anything anymore. And I thought, got to do something about that. So then I asked myself, why is it so easy for me to dream my biggest dream, to come up with my biggest heart's desire, something that seems so impossible, but gets me really excited? And then I discovered that I had to hugely increase the size of my dream. And you know what dream I came up with? The dream that got me really excited was to be the female philanthropist on this planet who has created the most positive impact. I want to leave a legacy of joy. I want to leave this planet one day knowing that I did everything I could to spread more joy on this planet. So becoming the biggest female philanthropist on this planet is a huge goal. It's a scary goal even maybe, but it's one that gets me excited. And if it gets you excited, whatever it is, then it's yours. Do it. Your heart gives you these messages because your heart knows what will actually make you happy. And when we tune into that, our desires become like that rocket fuel towards our dreams, and it becomes so much more easeful. So write your desire book. Another tip I want to give you is create a vision board. Create a dream board. Get a big piece of paper, like a poster board, and then cut out pictures, images, words, anything out of magazines and photos. You want a lot of images, right? And stick them on this board to create a visual representation of what you're actually going for. Now, you could put anything on this board, whether it's a car or a guy or a job or a house, or whatever. Make just sure that your heart is feeling excited when you look at it. And these can be images of states of being that you would like. You're creating the kind of lifestyle that you're going for. And then if you tap your points and meditate and connect to this vision board every day, you are giving your subconscious mind the right programming to get you towards your dreams and desires. Now, Tiziana says, how can I silence and calm all the confusion in my head and be able to feel my inner self? And above all, how can I understand which my path is to follow? And it would be so important to me. Thank you. Yes, this is important, Tiziana. So let's look at the question one by one. First of all, how do you silence and calm all the confusion in your head? There are many different ways to do this. I love using my breath to calm down my mind and connect to my body. And because you said, how can I feel my inner self? I'm guessing that you're a very kinesthetic person. If you're a kinesthetic person, do things with your body to help yourself feel intuition more, to feel that calmness. So you could book a massage. You could massage yourself. You could take a hot bath. You could surround yourself with essential oils in these diffusers. You could tap your points. A great point to tap to de-stress the body is here, above our lips and underneath our nose. Let's all start tapping that. Take a few deep breaths and then say, I love and accept myself, even when I feel stressed. Even when I feel confused and I don't know which path is right for me. And I love and accept myself when I now choose to be calm and centered and to know what is right for me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And another deep breath. Notice how you're calmer now. Now, if you keep doing that, anytime you feel stressed or confused, you will actually train your brain to find that peace and clarity within yourself because you're breaking a pattern. By doing this every single time, you're creating new synapses in your brain. There's a new highways for your brain to go on so that you can actually find that calm as a habit. And that's where intuition will start kicking in more and more because you're in that calm, you will hear the voice of intuition better. You will feel it even better in the body. As a kinesthetic person, I would suggest you connect to your body even more than you are doing maybe so now. How do you do that? You could practice a bit of yoga. You could practice pranayama, simple breathing techniques like counting from 1 to 5 as you breathe in. And from 1 to 5 as you breathe out, thinking of something that makes you happy, a beautiful bunch of flowers, a child smiling, whatever it is. And keep breathing from 1 to 5, counting as you breathe in, and count from 1 to 5 as you breathe out. This helps you to connect congruency, coherence between your heart and your brain. And by connecting to a positive image, a memory of the past that creates happiness in you, you're activating your heart chakra, you're opening your heart, you're vibing with that energy of appreciation and compassion and love. And that will help you feel better inside of your body. And it actually also helps you create more of what you want because we are vibrational beings. We are energy. Every thought we think creates an energy. Every feeling in our body is an energy. So if you take control over yourself, over your responses to what's happening, and create more loving frequencies inside of you, they will be mirrored around you too. You will become like a magnet for loving energy. And I would strongly recommend you to do this every day in the morning. Don't start your day without connecting to yourself. And simple breath exercises like this one that I just showed you, or simple yoga exercises, or dancing, or singing, anything that helps you create those good vibes is also going to help you understand your intuitive powers better. And you will also discover this path better. You know, that path that we all think might be mapped out, you know, from A to B. So straight line, that's how it's going to work. It doesn't work that way. The path unfolds as we take the steps. And it's that faith and trust that we have to have within ourselves, in our guidance, that helps us take that step, even if we don't know where it's going to end. What we do as humans, and I think this is our invitation as creators in this life, is to set our intentions to how do I want to walk this path? It's not about the destination. It's who you become and who you are on this path, how much joy you're experiencing, how much love you're sharing, how gracefully you're learning your lessons, how joyfully you're releasing the past. That's the quality of life that I think we're all going for, is that joy in life, that feeling of security and confidence in our choices. So don't get too wrapped up about, oh, what's my big mission in life? My mission is real simple. It's to spread joy while I help myself and others thrive. And it took me a while to formulate that mission in that way, because I think we all come with the mission to learn. We all come with the mission to teach and to share and to be compassionate and loving. And how we do that really is up to us. Whatever gives you most joy, because if you're doing something that you love, you're going to have joy doing that. And you're most likely also be good at what you're doing. So do what you love and do more of it and allow that path to unfold. And remember, nothing is under control. Just relax and everything will unfold perfectly. The only thing we have control of is ourselves. And that's a lot of work anyway. Wouldn't you agree? Okay. So here we have Angela. Next one. I have intuition, but I listen to the little voice more often. Cut out the buts. This is a tip for everybody. I always say only use the word but in English if it has two T's, and that's your behind. The but that comes from, oh, I love you, but I don't like this, is a useless but. It's so negative. So you've said, I have intuition, but I listen to the little voice more often. Now let's say I have intuition and I listen to the little voice more often. Doesn't that sound much nicer? That's exactly what it's about, Angela. It's about you listening more often. And the more often you listen, the stronger intuition gets. You see, that's how we develop it to the maximum, by strengthening that faith muscle, by practicing intuition, by trusting it, by acting upon it. And the more often we do that, the more you will notice how the universe will start supporting you. I can tell you some of the craziest choices that I've made that I just knew I had to do because intuition was guiding me. Usually nobody around me, or very, very few people around me, actually understood me or said, yeah, go ahead, this is good. But I just knew I had to do it. And those outlandish ideas I had then, well, they were often my best ones. And something else I've discovered, we all have 100% track record up until now, right? We're still here. Everything that we learned so far has only made us stronger. It's made us wiser. So now it's about making it more easeful, more joyful, to stop the struggle. So kick out the resistance, kick out the buts, create more ands. And the more often you listen to your intuition, the more often you celebrate it, the more often you will get those messages. And that maximum you're talking about, you will surpass that. Next one, Susanna. I know what intuition is worth since it's been a long time that I've been aware of it. The fact is, it seems to work better on others than on myself. I mean, I'm more receptive to the warnings of my intuition when it comes to knowing or telling other people what to do. And for myself, it doesn't come as naturally. That's normal. It's so much easier to see things from the outside, don't you think? It's so much easier to connect the dots looking backwards. So realizing and noticing what's right for other people is often easier because we have that detachment. We're not as involved, we're not as attached to the outcome. The problem with ourselves usually is that we're so attached to a certain outcome and we're so attached to how we think we need to go there that we're actually resisting and creating that sabotage ourselves. So I celebrate that you are noticing it for others. Woo, that's great. Now it's just about noticing for yourself. And that's where stepping out of the buzz and tuning into yourself, into your own heart's desires is going to be huge for you. Because sometimes we can get a little too involved in everybody else's lives and forget about ourselves. That's why self-love is a huge part of training our intuition. We have to connect to this here inside, to our core. We need to own that core energy that we are, that love, that positive energy. And then once we start doing that for ourselves, it'll be even easier for the outside too. But you know what I've realized? We can only help people so far. They've all got to actually create those learning experiences for themselves. And when they do, isn't it true that whatever we've learned by our own experience is that much more valuable to us? So I would suggest tune more into yourself, notice how you are creating a lot of synchronicities and you're getting a lot of insights for others, maybe write them down. And then when those people ask you, then you tell them. I have discovered that when I give advice unsolicited, it usually doesn't end well. So I zip it until someone asks me a question. So thank you all of you for asking so many questions because I love sharing what I know. And I'm so grateful if it's helping you too. Right, Lucia. With hypertension and glaucoma problems, so there's problems in the eye, can these meditations have contraindications? So is there a problem if I have hypertension or glaucoma? Is it still okay to do these meditations? Absolutely yes. So let's look at what disease actually is. It doesn't really matter which label that disease has, if it's hypertension or glaucoma or cancer or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's a disease. Where does disease actually come from? Where does it start? Well, disease always starts on an energetic level. Remember, everything is energy. We're energy. So when dis-ease comes in, it just means that there's stress. There's energetic stress that if we don't address, will become chemical stress in our bodies. So once the energetic level is disturbed, it'll next disturb the biochemical procedures in your body. So we see hormone levels changing, we see maybe digestion being a problem, the chemistry in our body is changing. If we don't address that stress imbalance in there, it'll go into cellular level. That's a level where actually our cells start changing in the body and the disease becomes manifest, okay? Sometimes we notice it already in our blood values, so in the chemistry, but usually conventional medicine will only look at whatever it is when it's right there. It's a cellular change. And here's the invitation to do this differently. When you start addressing that stress in your life that might be on a very, very subconscious level, it might have started decades ago, then you are addressing the stress where it actually started. And when we change the energy, everything else will change too. So far in conventional medicine or in all the practices that maybe people who are less holistic have been doing, we're usually always starting to change, we're trying to change the physical, which is the hardest to change. So here's my invitation. Start addressing all the stress, any stress that you're experiencing in your body, and release. Keep finding your center, keep finding your peace. That's going to help your body heal fastest. And meditation is just a way to get your body and mind de-stressed, to bring you preferably into the theta zone. So the theta brainwave zone. In theta, healing really happens because it makes sense, doesn't it? If our body is stressed, if we're on an unconscious level fighting for survival, we don't have energy left for healing. So by de-stressing and giving the body more space and energy to invest into healing, a lot of these problems, especially hypertension, can go away very, very quickly. So yes, please, whatever health issues you are struggling with, please meditate more, visualize more what you really want, create an image of the future, of yourself in the future, see yourself healthy and happy, and capture a frame, create a little frame in your mind of the moment when you know you're healed. How would you know? What would you be doing in that moment? When I was suffering from severe back pain, my image of the future was myself running up through a forest, laughing. I was having so much fun. And whenever I was in pain, actually every single day, numerous times a day, even without pain, I would connect to that image. I would bring it back into my consciousness and see myself, imagine myself, hear myself, feel myself running up that hill laughing because I was so happy and fit. And you know what? It's not even a year later and I am hiking up mountains and running up mountains and I'm happy. So never, never underestimate the power of your mind. Sarah, next question. How is it possible to reach goals faster with less effort and listening to intuition? You said it, you gave yourself the answer. By listening to our intuition, we are connected to our highest intelligence. What that means is that it's a little smarter than our little conscious mind. So often when we are being rational, when we're thinking, we are only using a tiny part of our brain, the conscious mind. But as you know, especially when you follow this course, you'll know that the conscious mind has a very limited power of processing information. You can't really do that much with the conscious mind. You need it. But the way more powerful part is your subconscious mind. And when you get subconscious mind and conscious mind aligned, congruent, both wanting the same thing, then intuition will give you the solutions that you're looking for. It'll give you those ideas of how to solve a problem. It'll show you ways that you would have never thought of. And that is why I believe intuition really is the key, the missing link in so many of the teachings and so many of our educational systems, because we're not training that highest knowledge. We're just repeating old knowledge. So my suggestion, you want to make it easeful for yourself, then go ahead and find your joy every single day. Connect to your intuition and release the past. Be open to the new and be open to be guided in a way that is so much more effortless than what you've been doing in the past. So thank you for joining this challenge. And I'd love to hear how it works out for you. Okay. Here, Roberta, how can I transform intuition into behavior that is congruent with my needs? I came away from a job that was crushing me, and now I'm rebuilding. So it sounds like you're in a crucial point in your life right now. You've let go of something in the past. I'm guessing and hoping that you learned all your lessons. You know why you were in that job. You know why you had to experience it as so crushing. And when you tap into gratitude for everything that you had, you're literally opening up your new path to recreate yourself. So there are many wonderful ways how to do this. All the tapping that we teach in all our courses is all about creating congruency. Because remember, we want to create congruency between our subconscious mind and our conscious mind. When those two start working together, we will automatically start creating habits that are empowering. We will have empowering thoughts. We will actually take actions that take us closer to our goals. But if there's any tiny bit of sabotage in us, if there's a belief that's holding you back, like I'm not worth it, or I'm too stupid, or I'm too slow, or I don't have enough money, or whatever, that will be your sabotage. So whenever you become aware of a sabotage, some belief that is holding you back from really owning that new self, transform it. Use the tools that I show you in this quantum intuition training so that you can transform any sabotage and create congruency within your mind and your heart and your soul so that all parts of you are walking into the direction of your dreams. And remember, again, here, daily practice is the gold, because you want to create new habits, and new habits take 90 days to become automatic. So whatever you're doing that's good and that's helping you, always do it for 90 days to make sure it's really integrated into your being. And that's why the tapping is so, so powerful, because you see, while we're tapping our points, our conscious mind is maxed out. It is so focused on tapping and saying these positive affirmations, it can't do anything else. So what happens then is that our subconscious mind opens up, and we're literally reprogramming our brain. We're putting all the good things in there that we want there, and we're erasing all the other. So keep going, and please do the tapping, and I'm sure you'll create change very fast. And it's sustainable. That's even more important. Next one, being of light. Now, the being of light is a very interesting question. I would like to know if we have complete free will, or if the Creator has outlined our path anyway, and we can only take shortcuts or lengthen the path to get His will. Well, this in itself would be a whole hour, I should think days that we could talk about this, but I'm going to try and keep it as succinct as possible. So if we say whatever created us, God, Creator, the energy, created us in His image, so we are like Him or like her, whatever it is, right? Then we are the same as a creator. So we are the creators of our own lives. That means that it's our choices that we make on a daily basis that are creating the experiences that we experience. Every thought we think, every belief we hold true. Remember Bruce Lipton, the biology of belief. Whatever you believe is true is true. You will create from those beliefs, from those thoughts, from those actions that you're taking. So yes, I do believe that we have free will in every single moment to make either a loving choice, a choice to listen to our intuition, or we choose to follow someone else's choice. Whatever we do, we're going to learn our lesson. We're going to learn and grow in this life for sure, because that's what we came for. The question is, how easeful, how joyful, and how loving is this life going to be? There, it goes back to yourself again. How kind are you to yourself? How loving are you to yourself? How supportive are you of your own heart's desires? Once we start emanating, being that love in every action that we take, in every moment of the day, if we focus on that being more, everything else really solves itself, if you ask me. The right experiences will appear at the right time. The right people will connect to you, because it's all a matter of vibration. Once you're sending out this pure vibration of love and compassion and joy and a high vibration, the more the same vibration is attracted towards you. So that's my answer about free will. I think we try to create way too much with willpower. And I think now is the time to stop that willpower forcing way of creating things and allow it to flow more, to tune into the universe, to tune into that love of the Creator and create from that place, because the results are just more beautiful than we're coming from a disempowered state, from an angry state, from a frustrated state. We're just going to create more of that. So where focus goes, energy flows. Remember that. And we're all energy. Now, this is the last question. Whoa, one but last. The question is, how do I know what block or fear I have in my subconscious? Nice question, Dorothea. Well, you will notice the block or the fear when it comes up. You will notice resistance. You will notice negative emotions in you. And whenever those emotions or triggers come up, notice what happened. This is where I teach stop, breathe, and listen. Sometimes, or most of the time, sadly, we're busy blaming outside circumstances for our own unhappiness or for the emotions that we're feeling. But once we claim that responsibility of the creator of our own lives, we will realize that any person that's turning up and triggering us, any situation that's triggering us, is something that we're creating in ourselves. Our reaction to that situation, our response to that person is going to determine our situation and our experience of that situation. So what we want to do is we want to keep tuning in to our best selves so that we can notice the fears, notice the emotions, notice the triggers, and then understand, oh, that's actually just old news. This is something of the past that I haven't resolved yet. So now I'm going to choose to resolve it. And then you could set your intention and say, even if I don't understand why this person is triggering me and what block and fear I have inside of me, all I do know is that I know so now, and I am fulfilled. And I delete all blocks and fears inside of me that could stop me. And I download everything I need to do so now with grace, ease, and joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is, so it shall be, or something even better. And then notice, what's the message in your intuition? What's the message inside of your mind? What's the image you're getting? What's the memory of the past that is popping up? That's your subconscious bringing you the answer that you were looking for. That's where it came from. And now it's your job to resolve that. How do you resolve it? Well, you've set your intention. Now you could tap your points. You could tap your fear points, or I call them the courage points, right here underneath your collarbones. And then you could say, I love and accept myself with all my fears and possible blocks that I have. And I love and accept myself when I now choose to release the fear, to transform the block and step into my power of courage and love and determination. I can do this. I will do this. And I am doing this now. And notice the difference. Now, do this every time. That block is gone. It's a part of the past. And you can now focus on what you really want in life. Okay, very last question. I kind of answered it up at the front, but let's go into it again. This is Luana. How do I feel or know if it's an intuition or if it's an automatic program inherited from family or society? Right? Those voices in our heads. Remember, up until the age of 7, our subconscious mind is wide open. We're usually in a super relaxed brainwave state. As children, we're highly programmable. That's why these first 7 years are called the programming years of our lives. Now, we received a lot of programming, as Luana is saying. We received programming from media, our parents, from religion, from society, all kinds of stuff. And most likely, we're all running on all kinds of different programming that we're not even aware of. So the first point in creating change there is to notice and ask yourself, is this my belief or is this someone else's belief? Are these my emotions or am I picking up on someone else's emotions? So notice you're going back to step out of the buzz and tune into yourself. Ask yourself empowering questions such as, why is it so easy for me to notice the difference between my thoughts and other people's thoughts? Why is it so easy for me to step out of conditioning that no longer serves me? Why is it so easy for me to listen to my intuition? Why is it so easy for me to be grateful? Why is it so easy for me to know what is right for me? When you ask empowering questions, your brain has to give you an answer. And by asking empowering questions, you will receive creative solutions for any problems that you're facing right now. You'll be able to switch your state. You will be able to focus on what's actually helpful to you rather than taking yourself down with negative questions and negative self-talk. So ask more empowering questions. And when the answers come up, the moment you write it down, you're making them manifest. They become more real. That's maybe the reason why all spells in the magic world were always written down. And in English, we still say spelling, and that contains the word spell. So remember, everyone, every word you speak, every thought you think is part of your creation of your life. So be conscious, be careful, be compassionate with your words and the thoughts that you have. And when you write something down, know that you are manifesting something. So trust your intuition, listen to those messages, write them down, and start noticing how incredibly wise you are. Thank you so much for sending me your questions. And I really look forward to the next round. And I am beyond excited to hear all about the changes and the improvements that you're making in your life just by following your intuition. I love you. Arrivederci. Ciao.